Hey everyone, this is Faisal, certified high performance coach and a lifelong student of philosophy, spirituality, and sciences. And today's episode, I want to talk about happiness. How do we stay happy? And what are the secrets to happiness? There are no secrets to happiness. Why? Because it's one of the most studied subjects of human history, of human civilization. We've been studying happiness when it comes to in philosophy. We've been studying it in spiritual texts. We have been studying it in science when it comes to human condition. We've been studying it even in arts. So what is happiness? Why are we so confused about this idea that we need to do some odd thing to be happy in life, or something extraordinary to be happy in life? Don't get me wrong, you should have an extraordinary life, but why is it that many people are not happy? And that's the question. So let me ask you this question. Are you happy in your life? Or are there areas of your life you're happy about, and are there other areas of your life you're not happy about? Chances are that you will have both of them. And my goal in this video is to get you some clarification into how you can create that happiness in your life. What are the secrets to happiness? So when we think about our life, when we think about how we create happiness, if we look at it from a philosophical perspective, psychological perspective, or even spiritual perspective, happiness starts in the mind. It doesn't start in your external environment. And this is the key to people being miserable, because we're always running around things that will make us happy. We're trying to find relationships that will make us happy. We're trying to find a job that will make us happy. We're trying to find a career that will make us happy, which is fine. There's nothing really wrong in that sense with it. But when we think about where happiness is generated, it's generated in the mind. It's generated with your thoughts. So we never analyze our thoughts as to what our thoughts are telling us, but we just automatically go towards things that we think will make us happy. And this is where the problem occurs. And I mean, I've coached so many people in this area, and I've gone through it myself, where for example, one of my clients would come up to me and say that she's not happy in her marriage. And when I would ask her why that is so, is because, well, my marriage doesn't fit the picture. My marriage is not what I expected it to be. So as soon as I hear that, I know that she has a picture in her head, in her mind, that her marriage is supposed to be a certain way. Now the challenge here is that people's idea of happiness most of the time doesn't come from them. It comes from the culture that they're a part of, the society that they were brought up in. It comes from the norms that they're surrounded by. And this happens at such an early age, when we see things over and over, when we watch other people, when we model other people, that we forget that the thoughts that we're thinking about our idea of life, our idea of happiness, is not really our own. And if going back to that example for my client, I asked her to think about what is your idea of a good marriage that would make you happy. And when we dug deeper into the issue, we found that she had a picture that was given to her since childhood by the culture that she was a part of, by the society that she was a part of. And she thought that was her creation, that was her thought. Those were her thoughts of a happy life. So she expected a marriage to be a certain way, and unless it's that way, she will not be happy, in that marriage at least. So this is the issue with many people, that we have thoughts, first of all, in our head, a picture of what makes us happy. And many times we don't create the picture for ourselves. So the first clue to happiness is to do self-inquiry, to know where your thoughts come from, to question your thoughts. And this is something that has been taught over and over by every teacher that you can think of, that unless you question your own thoughts, ideas, and beliefs to know where they come from, and if they're actually your thoughts, if they're actually the things that you want, or they're based on what society expects you to want. That's one aspect of happiness. And when you go into this, and this is if you sit with yourself, if you're still, if you sit with yourself on a daily basis or weekly basis and think about what makes you happy, and whatever makes you happy, are those your thoughts, or they were given to you? And if you find that they're not your thoughts, they were given to you by the society that you live in, then start thinking about what actually makes you happy. And then you will find that there are many things that might be easily make you happy, and there might be things that you already have in your life that you hadn't considered because of that picture that was in your head or in your mind. So other than that, I want to give you 3 aspects of happiness. When we consider, our mind works with the past, it works with the present, and it works with the future. So unless we come to terms with these 3 time perspectives, I wouldn't say time because we don't even know what time is. It might not even be linear. And the more we study time in terms of science, we realize that it's actually not what we think of it. But in our mind, there's a past, there's a present, and there's a future. So for many people, the reason that they're not happy is because they haven't made peace with their past. Many of my clients I speak to, many people that I speak to, from my experience as well, I've learned that many people sit down and when they think about their past, they think of guilt, they think of regret, they think of the mistakes that they've made. But what we stop considering is that the way we have evolved, the way we've been created, we're meant to make mistakes. Without mistakes, we can't really grow. We can't really learn. Are there things that we can learn without mistakes? Yes, you can. That's why you're probably watching this video. That's why I learn and study, so I can avoid certain mistakes. But there are mistakes that you have to, there are things that you have to go through to learn a lesson. And we term it mistakes, but technically it's an experience that you have to go through to learn something. And what ends up happening is the meaning that we assign to that experience. So for example, if somebody in the past stole something, or they lied, or they hurt somebody, and whenever they're with themselves or in the crowd and they something triggers that and they remember that thought makes them unhappy. It's not really the thought, it's the meaning that they assign to that thought that makes them happy. So they haven't made peace with that past. And another aspect of the past is also the people that have hurt you. Have you forgiven people? Have you let go of your hurt? Have you let go of the pain that you're holding on to within yourself? And I won't go too deep into forgiveness. You can actually go ahead and watch my video on forgiveness. I've explained that in detail. So we have to learn to make peace with the past. And unless we make peace with the past, then we're always pulled back into the past. And another aspect, I'll go into the future, I'll come to the present after, but another aspect of our life is our future. I talked about the picture that we create in our mind. What is your vision for the future? What is your intention for the future? How do you create your future? Does it just come to you randomly, or do you have an intention for it? For many people, I'll tell you that consciously they don't really have an intention, but at some level everybody has a picture of what they want in the future. The challenge here is what I explained before, is that you have to, if you're not conscious of what you want in the future, what you'll run into is a bunch of stuff that you didn't really intend to happen. And But when you consciously think about what you want in the future and you start thinking about going towards it, that goal and that journey, that will create happiness in your life. That's why when you think about a lot of successful people, they always have a vision for themselves. It doesn't mean that they have to be perfect in terms of their vision, their goal, their dreams. People even have a vision for their identity. I teach this in my coaching, that you have to have a vision for your future identity. What is your highest or best self that you want to be, that you strive to be? In psychology, we know this, that we have an ideal self and an actual self. The ideal self is what we strive to be, and the actual self is who we are at this moment. So ideally, I want to be a very compassionate person, but actually I'm at a level where I'm not there completely. But every day I'm trying to be that person, for example. And same with everybody can come up with their idea of what they want to be. Same goes with your work. You can have a vision for your relationship. How do you want to be in your relationships? What kind of work do you want to do? But the idea is that have you set your intention towards something? Have you created a vision, and have you started working towards that? It doesn't matter if you get there tomorrow or in 5 years. That's not the point. The point is that you're working towards something. There is growth associated within you. And when we grow, we are satisfied. When we stop growing, it doesn't matter how successful you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many things you have, how many relationships you have. If you're not growing in those relationships, if you're not growing towards something, then that creates a problem within your psychology, within your nervous system, because we need growth to be happy. That's part of how human mind works. And now coming back to the present. And this is the most important aspect of our life. We constantly think about the past and the future, and I do agree that we need to make peace with the past, and we need to create a vision for the future. But most of our life should be focused in the present. And this is one of the highest forms of spiritual practice as well, that the more connected and engaged you are in the present, in your relationships, in your work, and the things that you do, in the service that you provide, the more connected you are with yourself in this present, in this moment, the more happy you are. And this is one of the keys to happiness, because if you look at it, that we've had religions or practices have formed around presence, such as Zen Buddhism. It's completely based on presence. It has no text, nothing whatsoever. Your only goal is to be in this moment. There are focus arts that are built around that. Martial arts, you have to be in the present to practice it. But you can practice this in your own life. And why is this important? If you think about it in terms of your work, unless you're fully engaged in your work, unless you're fully present, you don't appreciate your work. You're just doing it automatically. Unless you're fully engaged in your relationships, you don't appreciate your relationships. You might miss how the other person is communicating to you. You might miss the little things that might make you happy. If you're not fully engaged in your life, you might miss the things that you're grateful for, the things that you have. And this is where gratitude comes into this. And I hope you watch my video on gratitude, but when we think about gratitude, it can be in the present, it can be in the past, it can be in the future as well. So in the past, we're grateful for all the experiences that we've had. In the present, you can be grateful for all the things around you, even if those are with for the 2 eyes that you can see with, for the hands that you have. You can be grateful for that, and that brings you in this moment. For the future, you can be grateful for the experiences to come your way. But it all becomes a matter of perception. How do you define your reality? And this is what many people don't understand about happiness, is that it doesn't have to be something on the outside. It is something that you create within your mind. And if you think about it in terms of psychology, psychologists such as, there was a researcher or a psychologist, Dan Gilbert, he talked about it, that our prefrontal cortex It's a simulator. Whatever happens within it is as real to us as it happens on the outside world to us. And that's the adaptation biologically that we have in our brain and our mind, that we can create scenarios in our head for our past, for our present, for our future. And what do you choose for your life? And we have that conscious control over our life. You can look at it from a psychological perspective, or you want to look at it from a spiritual perspective, that our thoughts create our reality. Our thoughts generate what we do in life. And the more clear we are about our thoughts, the more we move towards the thoughts that make us happy, the more we're focused on those thoughts, the happier we become. So again, to summarize, happiness is an intention. You have to create that intention for happiness. We have to become at peace with our past if we want to be happy. We have to be present in this moment. We have to be present in our life. We have to be fully engaged to be happy. We have to start appreciating and accepting everything that's around us. And we have to be grateful about the experiences that are coming in our way. And at the end of the day, like I said, most of our life is in the present. The past and the future are all illusions in our own mind. If we think about it, they're just thoughts. Because the past is gone, the future is a possibility that nobody can predict. Even if you set the exact same plan, things can always change. But the present is the only reality that you have, and make the best out of that. And the more present we become in our life, whether that be in our relationships, in our work, and anything else that we do, the more we will appreciate life and the more satisfied we will be in our life. And one last thing, I brought this up in the middle of it, but your connections are one of the best sources of your happiness. The more connected you are with people, the more happy you will be. And that goes in the present again, that the more present you are with your relationships, with your spouse, with your family, with your friends, the more engaged you will be and the more connected you will be. And there's much more to this, and like I said, there is no secret to happiness. It's something that has been studied over and over and over, but it has to start here. You have to take care of your thoughts. You have to do self-inquiry. You have to think about what thoughts do you hold in your mind on a consistent basis. Are these thoughts making you happy? If they are, then it's working for you. If they're not, then you need to change your thoughts or your idea of happiness. So once again, you can either change your thoughts or you can change your reality in front of you. So if you have control over what's in front of you, work towards changing that. If you don't, change your reality within your mind. Change your thoughts, change your idea of happiness, and you're going to create a reality that will be happy for you. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you have a great week. If you loved or even liked the video or this episode, you can do two things right now. One, you can click on the subscribe tab right here on the screen or in the info area if you can't click on the screen. So you're up to date on all my free training, on all the free training that I send on my YouTube channel on a regular basis. And two, you can click on the success indicator tab on the screen or in the info section, so you can get the training, the thorough training that I created for you, that has 10 factors that will determine whether or not you will be successful at anything that you do or want to do. And it will also help you create more success at anything that you want to do in life. So, and this will also get you subscribed to my newsletter, so I can send you more of these free training on a regular basis that I don't post on my YouTube channel. So make sure you click on those two buttons or tabs, and make sure you like and share this video. Make sure you post your comments in the comment section below so we can get more people involved in our community right here. Thank you very much. Have a great day.